Hello and welcome to this week's episode where I'm taking you to the eastern Dolomites in Italy to photograph Tre Cime. In this vlog I'll be taking you through my process when shooting long exposures using neutral density filters. If you're new to long exposure photography, it's really quite easy and a fun way to capture the landscape with an unusual, almost otherworldly twist. Hi. Check it where we are. Tre Cime di Lavaredo in the Dolomites. And yeah, light's not ideal, but it's been pretty horrendous the last couple of days, so I am stoked to get anything. And lo and behold, not a soul around. I have no idea why. I don't think there's a weather warning. If there is, I'll find out soon enough. Fact of the matter is, this spot is about a 20-minute walk from the car. So really I'm not fast. I think we do more hectic things in Tasmania than getting to a spot like this. But now that we're here, ideas, I'm hoping that all of this cloud behind me, it's all getting pushed currently. It's getting pushed from up there down this way. And I'm hoping this is all going to get pushed out of the way. The sun's going to be setting down that way. Admittedly, it's not looking ideal, but you never know. Sunset is in 2 hours. I'm not having high hopes for golden hour, but hey, I'm stoked to be here. What I'm going to do for the time being is shoot a couple of time lapses, shoot some long exposures. I think they're going to work quite nicely with this kind of sky, and I think I'll talk you through how I'm going to do that now. The reason why I reckon they'll work nicely here is that the clouds are moving in the direction of the scene, which means any long exposure will drag the sky and create leading lines. And as you can see behind me, the last thing this spot lacks is leading lines, right? So there's this huge one down there, leads all the way up into the massive Tre Cime. And now, you know, what's better than leading lines at the bottom? We'll add some in the sky. All right, long exposures, right? Number one, as always, we start with, there you go, I hope that's visible. So we start simple. Strong composition, leading lines. Got our sky, here we go, got our cloud moving into the scene. Okay, and we're shooting at f11, that Sony 16-35 f4 lens. It's very nice and sharp at f11. So we're shooting at f11 without an ND filter. Great exposure at the moment. 100 ISO obviously would be 1/30. That is clearly not a long exposure. So what we'll do instead is we're going to put on one of my trusty, oh God, how am I going to show you this? We're going to put on one of my case ND filters, and in this case we'll go full hog with an ND10, way stopping the light down because I want to get at least 20 seconds. So let's see, stop the light down with 10 stops. Alright, opening that shutter further and further, 4 seconds, slowly the scene's coming in. Alright, now I've got to start being careful. I want to get 25, here we go, 30. We can see it's clipping just a little bit up here. And I can also see that down here in the histogram. So what we need to do is stop our aperture down just a bit more. It's looking quite dicey because, no wonder, the sun is currently blasting through there. So I think to balance that scene, we're just going to have to crop that out, zoom in just a tad. So what I had to do is the sun is poking through the clouds over here, so I had to adjust the whole composition a little bit and get the Tre Cime into the center a bit more. Nothing wrong with that. So now we're at f8, double check our focus, yep, tack sharp, and 30 seconds is going to work. All right, I've got my 2-second time on so I don't, bump the exposure as it starts rolling, and let's see how we go. And if this one came together nicely, here's the shot. And here's a different long exposure I shot just a little bit after sunset. Now here's an example of that previous scene but with the ND filter removed and a relatively fast shutter speed. What do you think? Do you prefer the faster exposure or the dragged out shutter on the right? I'm actually tending towards the faster one as it tells a more dramatic story in this case. But I'd love to hear from you which one you like better. Let me know in the comments below. I really lucked out that evening as the ideal gap in the clouds opened at what must have been the perfect moment. Over the years I'd seen Trecima during sunset a few times, but never did I expect to witness such wonderful golden and glowing light at that spot. And that's when I captured this. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you'll find some use of my long exposure tips when you're out in the landscape next. If you got something out of this video, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. There's a lot more to come. And until then, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.